My name's Dave DeBoe, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey there, folks. Let me ask you a question. Now, have you ever heard of the concept of specialize, and that's the key to success? Well, today's guest, Victoria Cluney, zooming in all the way from beautiful Ottawa, Ontario, has taken a different route with her real estate investing journey, and she's gotten some pretty amazing results. So, Victoria, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Dave. I'm excited for this.
I am too. Now, we were talking a little bit offline, and you told me that you've been investing in real estate for 20 years. And no offense, but to me, that looks like you started when you're about 10.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
Lucky you. I get the
I
exact
know.
opposite. But anyway. Yeah.
That's awesome. No, I have a baby face, and it's funny because I have lived a big life. And so when I walk into a room, if I'm a speaker or if I'm teaching or, whatever specialization that I'm representing, I already know the bias that is happening right away just from the way that I look.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can use it. You can use it to your advantage as well. There's a lot to be said about having a baby face. So don't complain too much.
Oh gosh, no, I think I've cracked the code. I've been, I've had a lot of experience now with it, so I'm pretty happy about it.
All right. Well, let's get started with kind of the big picture overview. What does your real estate investing portfolio look like right now? Because diversification is a big part of your strategy. So tell us a little bit about it.
It is. And so right now, what is occupying the most of my time is a boutique motel called the Breeze Motel. It is on Evangeline Beach in Nova Scotia. I know we were just talking about Nova Scotia. And it is a very active real estate property. And so right now we're coming into the high season. It's our second year in operations. And so it's occupying my time. There's another project that I've partnered up with land developers. And so that one is in the forefront. And then the one that I'm most excited about right now is the tiny home developments that I have 3 co-founders with this. And we are developing tiny home villages and just taking this by storm. I mean, the amount of interest that we've been receiving just from organic reach has been more than we expected. So we're really just trying to navigate this as best we can.
Are you, I've seen some stuff in the news recently about a gentleman in Moncton who's built out one of these. Are you involved with that guy, or is it a different group that you're involved in?
It's a different group. So the group is Humble Creek Homes, and we are separate from that. So like there's tons of different tiny home builders. And what separates us from them is that we're actually manufacturing these tiny homes. And so we've moved into a business model where we have licensees that are going to be selling these tiny homes, and we're also selling to businesses and finding lots. So one of the challenges with tiny homes is where do you put them that has the proper zoning, because they're on wheels. And so we have been converting mobile home parks and campgrounds and talking to municipalities and falling under the coach home bylaw. So now you can actually put our tiny homes on residential lots here in Ottawa.
As a coach home, that in Ottawa, that's cool. Yeah, I've spoken to a few investors recently. It seems like Ottawa's getting on the ball with making things much more
there. That's right. That's right.
Little by little.
Little by little, but it's helping us because we're in these conversations up front. Our goal is to move this across. I mean, we'll come out to you there, Dave. We'll talk to anybody at this point. So we'll be able to just continue to build on what we're learning here in Ottawa, just across the country.
Oh, that's awesome. So you piqued my curiosity. Well, several things, but also with the boutique motel. I think I know what that means. I've interviewed a few boutique hotel owners not that long ago, actually. So define to me, let it kind of paint us a picture of what does a boutique motel look like?
Well, picture a motel.
I got that one in my mind.
Imagine. picture a motel, and then zhuzh it up.
A la Schitt's Creek Motel?
Alice Schitt's Creek, absolutely. I have definitely been related to that reference, but basically beautify it. And that's what we did. We purchased a rundown waterfront motel. It was owned by a mom and pop, so their systems and their processes were archaic, and the motel needed love. And so we purchased it and we completely renovated it and we rebranded it and we made it automated and we just really modernized this motel so that people come there and it's has more of that luxury feel than what you would expect with a motel.
Very cool. Automated. Does that mean you don't really have a front staff,
No
front
front
desk
staff.
staff? Everything's kind of Airbnb style and you've got codes and stuff to get in rooms and all that.
Exactly. So we're operating it similar like an Airbnb.
Yeah.
My business partner is my boots on the ground in Nova Scotia. And so her background was Airbnb management. So it was a perfect fit for us.
Yeah.
And the challenge that we find with automating a motel is more on the customer expectation. Because when you go to an Airbnb, you don't expect somebody to be there greeting you and walking you through everything. But a commercial property like a motel, there is a level of expectation over and above what an Airbnb would have. And so we've really had to ease people into that and educate people up front before they get there of what to expect. And the feedback we've been getting this year has been amazing because of the seamless check-in and check-out.
Yeah. So that's exactly what the other gentleman I was speaking to, who has a number of boutique hotels in Montreal and Quebec City.
Yes.
That's what they do. So it's the same exact idea, but it's a boutique hotel, but it's no front desk staff. It's all automated. And what he found is he had to educate people as well, but it's so much faster and smoother than waiting in line. It seems to take a ridiculous amount of time to check into a hotel. It shouldn't, but it does. So that takes care of all of that. Yeah.
And you'll even notice the larger chains now. I mean, my husband prescribes to all of the automation. And so we do that at the Hilton. When we go stay there, you can actually do automated check-ins. So even though they have a front desk, I mean, a lot of people like to bypass that process anyways.
Yeah.
What they really want to know is that, are you going to be there to support them if they need help? And so that's what we had to put systems in place to make sure that we were still accessible and available so that they weren't on their own.
Yeah, that would be the thing. So having somebody to drop off an extra towel or roll of toilet paper, or whatever they're missing, right? So
That's right. That's right. So in this case, we actually have a room that is designated for the supplies, and we have cameras, of course, and we know exactly what rooms get opened at what time, but we'll give our guest a code to go and access that room and use the honor system. We can see what they're doing. They know, and it might be the East Coast vibe and the way it is, but yeah, they can go get coffee if they want an extra towel, if somebody requests an extra fan or a kettle, they can do that here.
And even if there's a bit of shrinkage, that is so much more financially astute than paying somebody a salary to be on site, right? I mean,
our expenses are very low operating this motel.
That is so cool. Good for you, Victoria. That's brilliant. I love that. Thanks for explaining what a boutique motel is.
Yeah, pleasure.
And the tiny home developments, that is very, very exciting as well. So hats off to that, especially getting that worked through bureaucracy. So it counts as a coach house in Ottawa, at least for now. So that's good stuff. So what's on the horizon for you real estate investing wise?
Good question. The tiny homes are definitely occupying a lot of time, and this is a business that will continue to grow. And so that will still be on the horizon. I mean, I'm underwriting another hotel right now. Somebody has sent me. So I tend to get those types of properties now. So, but I'm very particular. I'm looking for those unicorns now because the portfolio is strong where it's at. The businesses are growing. I have 3 businesses that I'm growing. And so from a real estate perspective, I want those unicorns that make me feel excited. the feel-good investing, that was a big shift for me a number of years ago, where I just got tired of the landlords and the tenants and the conflicts and the lack of control that the government was
Especially in
implementing
Ontario. Yeah.
in Ontario. And so I am somebody who likes to have control as much as I can over my assets. I want the
Yeah.
decisions that I'm making to reflect the outcomes that I'm getting. And so that was the big pivot for me on real estate, where I wasn't just focusing on the multifamily side of it. I was going to start to create opportunities that I had more control over how much I was going to charge for, and I could change that if I wanted, if the market shifts.
Yeah.
Lots of, I mean, there's so many opportunities. So I'm always looking for those types of opportunities now. And of course, maintaining the portfolio that I have.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. All the red tape and all the rules and regulations the government throws at us sometimes.
Yeah. Another thing I'm doing that I'm encouraging a lot of people to think about is looking at your current portfolio, and is it operating as the highest and best use? And so I do have some smaller multifamilies that are on lots that could be developed. And so we're moving into that phase as well. We have a property here that we purchased about a year and a half ago, knowing that we were going to develop it. And so now it's like finding the time to go through the process and the steps. And
the learning curve of a whole new thing, right?
that's right, because I am not a developer, but for smaller projects, I'm comfortable enough and I have a great network and support system to just, take it to that next level. So that's what I'm looking at with my current portfolio. And if a unicorn comes my way, I'll jump on it, but I'm pretty occupied right now.
Oh, that's great. So sounds like you've done a lot of cool things with real estate. Do you tend to self-finance your projects, or do you work with joint venture partners, investor partners, private capital? What do
A
you
little
think?
bit of both, to be
Yeah.
honest. So it depends on the project itself. And a lot of the earlier days were self-financed, which was giving me a lot more to be able to roll back into the properties and acquire more properties. And then I started partnering, and that was going really well. And then I moved into raising capital. And so depending on the margins on that property. So the motel, for example, I didn't need to give equity for the motel because the margins were so big and it's doing very, very well. So then we did private lending,
Nice.
where if the margins were smaller on a multifamily, then I would have done more of an equity type process. And so I look at each property and each opportunity, and depending if somebody has brought it to my attention, sometimes people will bring me a deal and then I will partner with them on that deal. But if I find it, then I'm definitely trying to do it on my own.
I got it. That makes sense. So what have you found to be most effective for you when it comes to attracting these private lenders, raising private capital? What works well for you, Victoria?
Being transparent, showing up as somebody with integrity, being authentic, not posturing as somebody that I'm not. And so the biggest compliments, I suppose, and the greatest feedback I get is how people feel that they can trust me. And so that know, like, and trust comes out, and I share a lot on social media, online, and that is to show who I am as a person. So I'm not trying to hide. I love talking about failures. I love talking about challenges because I'm a human, and I love talking about how I navigate. So people do tend to gravitate towards me in that sense. And I really, truly, genuinely care about every property, every person, and give the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Very cool. Before we jumped on the call, I was taking a look at your website and some of the stuff that you've got, and was really fascinated about how you're building a community.
Yeah.
And you've actually you've created this build community, which stands for Business Investing and Leadership Development. Very, very cool. Tell us a little bit about that. Why did you start that up? What's it all about? And how, how is how does this tie into your whole business platform?
So it really stemmed from going about 16, 17 years without community. I'm in the military. I've got 23 years in the Canadian Armed Forces. Actually, tomorrow.
You're still actively in the
I'm
military.
still actively in the military.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's nuts. And so that's why this had to get booked at 4 o'clock for me.
Yeah.
So I can, honor my time blocking of what I can do and what I can't do. And so I started very young, just as I joined very young, but I had no community and I was doing it on my own. Social media wasn't a thing. I didn't even know to look for a network and just figured it out. When I did find social media, that's what started to connect me to the real estate community. And that's how I learned that that was more than just a vanity metric. I was resistant to online, anything social media for a long time. When I had joined like a networking group here in Ottawa when I first moved here, and I looked around the room and I saw women just like me. For the first time, I was surrounded by women that was doing what I was doing, and I couldn't believe it, and doing more than I was doing. And so I said to myself, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And that's what really opened my eyes to creative financing, scaling, all of the things. Now, I took over that group, that one specific group, because the leader had stepped down. I didn't want to be that person, but when you just kind of like, you're looking around waiting for somebody to pick it up and nobody's doing it.
Nobody wants to take the lead. Yeah.
I didn't want to see it disbanded. I ended up leaving that group for other reasons, but what I did was I then created my own, which is the Build. And so it's really designed around my interests and what I love talking about, which is business, investing, and then the leadership side is what I think so many entrepreneurs don't get as much access to. And this is one of my skills because as a leader in the military, I'm a senior officer. I have been a leader. I have advanced leadership training. I have a master's in organizational psychology. So I really do understand human behavior and how to manage people and select the right people. So I'm just trying to build this community and support. There is an altruistic side for women because again, I didn't have that and I can see how valuable it is. And then B, for myself, it just inspires me every day and I get to meet incredible entrepreneurs and investors and you watch their transformation connecting with each other and just trying to, create something I'm proud of.
Oh, that's awesome. That is fantastic. Well, Victoria, thank you very much for sharing your insights, sharing how your real estate trajectory has gone, how you now focus on diversification versus just one particular asset class. Makes a lot of sense. You're looking for those unicorns now. If somebody's watching this or listening to this and they say, hey, I need more of this Victoria Cluney woman, how can they connect with you?
Really, like Victoria Cluney, if you just search on any platform that is your platform, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Victoria Cluney is my handle. And so I'm pretty easy to find these days. And I'm the one on the other end. So if somebody messages me, please, I'm always open to helping, having a conversation. And it's going to be me that responds.
Fantastic. Well, Victoria, keep up the good work.
Thanks, Dave.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.